Hello everyone, this is Dust from Infernal Anvil with a quick video about the dynamic crafting system in Equilibrium of Divinity. We will today craft some weapons. We start with a small and simple dagger. You can see the damage is 13 piercing damage and the weight is 1.8. These values are gonna change when we actually craft the dagger. So we have two ingredients that we need, first is we need 2 metals, and then this one is optional. It's marked by the blue check mark. This means we don't need that, but we could use it. We can add a gem here, and which effect it has we will see in a minute. But first we will just start with the basic metals. We have I've prepared a set of copper, some iron and some gold for this showcase, and let's see what happens when we drag the copper here. Remember, the damage was 13 and now the damage is 16 and the weight went up to 2.9. So let's see how the iron does. We had 16 and 2.9. Now we have 24 and a weight of 4. So we see if we craft the dagger with more heavy metal, the dagger itself gets heavier. And also the damage goes up because iron is a much better metal for fighting. Now let's see how the gold is doing. We had 24 with the iron and 16 with the copper. So the gold is only 14, but the weight went up to 5. This is because, well, gold is not such a good material for physical fighting. But we can also add a gem here, which have also prepared a set of infernal rubies and frozen sapphires. Those are very late game gems, so they are really powerful, as we can see in a minute. And yeah, now we want to see how the dagger will look if we add an infernal ruby to it. So let's do that. We can see the normal damage has been, is still 13, nothing has changed there. But we now have also 50 fire damage, which comes from the Infernal Ruby. And now let's try again with our 3 metals. Remember, we went to 16, so the first number will actually not change. The physical damage will always stay at the same as before. So here we have now 16. But the fire damage went also up from 50 to 60, so that is important to keep in mind. And now the iron, which still is 24, but the fire damage went up to 64, so a little bit better as the copper as well. And now you can see the gold, this is the interesting part. Now the piercing damage is only 14, but the fire damage is actually doubled, so it's a pretty big increase here. And that's the dynamic crafting system, where you can really change how your weapon will behave according on what you need in the dungeon to progress forward. Okay, so let's actually test a little bit of more advanced weapon. This two-handed mace seems to be a good fit. It has a base damage of 52 and a weight of 8.2. Now we just leave the copper side because the copper is pretty much rubbish. It's not a really good metal. So as we have seen, it's from 52 up to 98, so almost doubled. And if we drag the Infernal Ruby, or let's just take the Frozen Sapphire just for sake of a little bit variety, we also have 64 water damage now, as well as the 98 physical damage from the iron and the base value from the two-handed mace. So it's around 150 in total. And now with the gold, we have 57 and 100. So the base damage is still pretty low with the gold, but the magic damage is much higher, and so that's important to keep in mind when you craft weapons in Equilibrium of Divinity. And also I have prepared some leather so we can actually craft this mace, because there is another interesting twist to it if we craft it. we have crafted a masterpiece weapon. You can actually give it a name if you want, so I'll leave it at Zahn, why not? Now, the masterpiece weapon has now a water damage of 110. We remember that it was only 100, so if you have a masterpiece proc, it will also increase your magic damage even further, so that's also something to keep in mind. So you can really tinker with these weapons and forge them the way you actually need them, which I think is a really cool feature. So yeah, that's it for the crafting feature, for the dynamic crafting feature. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I see you guys soon.